ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
वन्दे
वन्दे
गुरुपरम्पराम्
गुरुपरम्पराम्
ॐ सहना
ॐ
भवतु
सहनावतु
भुनक्तु
सहनौ
सहनौ
सह
भुनक्तु
वीर्यं
सह
करवावहै
वीर्यं करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
ॐ
ॐ
शान्ति
शान्तिः
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 ॐ तत्सत् ॐ नमः शिवाय
ॐ तत्सत् ॐ नमः शिवाय.
Okay, so in the last class, we were looking at the very important mantra 245, and Yajnavalkya was telling Maitreyi a lot of things about how nobody is really, how you really know nobody but accepting yourself. And what is the purpose of all this? Because if you follow Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, the phalam is moksha. Therefore, he tells Maitreyi, Atma va are drashtavyaha, shrotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha. Very, very important Shruti statement telling us what we should be doing. Right? And he tells her that by following these three, what happens? You will have Brahma Darshanam. Right? And Brahma Darshanam means what? As Aham Brahma Asmi. I am Brahman. That is the Darshanam of Brahma. There is no other Darshanam. And what further will happen if you know that? You will know that you yourself are everything. So, idam sarvam viditam. This is the Phalashruti. This is the phalam of the particular jnana. So, idam sarvam viditam. Everything is known, right? Now, if you look at the flow, we have seen that Atmajnanam is what? Equal to Sarvajnanam. He's saying here, idam sarvam viditam. You know everything. Before that, he said that by Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, you will know yourself. So, Atmajnanam, he has said, and he has followed up by saying, Idam Sarvam Viditam. You will also have known everything. So, if you put it in equation form, Atmajnanam is equal to Sarvajnanam, which means what? Atma is Sarvam. Therefore, Atma eva idam Sarvam. Atma alone is everything. That's a very, very important idea. Atma alone is everything. Which means what? When you say Atma alone is everything, what does it mean? I will remind you of Brahmarpanam, Brahmavihi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam. What does it mean? Atma eva idam sarvam. What is the, astounding implication here?
Everything that is there is Brahman only.
Okay. Which means what?
Atma is equal to Brahman.
That is fine. But what does it do for our understanding that there is, in the whole universe is divided into Atma and Anatma?
No, it's Atma alone.
Which means what? That there is no such thing as Anatma. And this is why, if you remember the discussion during the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I had said that Brahmarpanam Brahmavihi is a quantum jump in understanding. It is not said too many times in the Bhagavad Gita, but it is said multiple times in Upanishads that there is no such thing as Anatma. Don't ever think that there is a mithya thing called Anatma. The word Anatma itself is the biggest mithya. It doesn't exist at all because it is nothing but Atma only. Okay. So that is the implication of this wonderful little verse, mantra. Now we will look at the sixth mantra, 246. Okay. We will chant. Brahmatam paradat.
Brahmatam
ब्रह्मतं पदा
परादात्
यो अन्यत्र आत्मनो ब्रह्म वेद
यो
यो अन्यत्रात्मनो ब्रह्मवेद
शत्रं तं परादात्
शत्रं तं
तत्परादात्
परादात्
यो अन्यत्र आत्मनः शत्रं वेद
यो
यो
अन्यत्र
अन्यत्रम्
आत्मनः
आत्मनः शत्रं वेद
लोकस्तं परादुः
लोकास्तं
लोकास्तं
परादुः
परादुः
यो अन्यत्र आत्मनो लोकान् वेद
यो
यो
अन्यत्र
अन्यत्र
अन्यत्रात्मनो लोकान्
आत्मनो
वेद
लोकान्
वेद
वेद
देवस्तं परादुः
देवास्तं
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 परादुः
परादुः
यो अन्यत्र आत्मनो देवान् वेद
यो
यो
अन्यत्र
अन्यत्र
अन्यत्रात्मनो
आत्मनो
देवान् वेद
देवान् वेद
भूतानि तं परादुः
भूतानि
भूतानि
तं
भूतानि तं
परादुः
परादुः
यो अन्यत्र आत्मनो भूतानि वेद
यो
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 अन्यत्रात्मनो
अन्यत्र
भूतानि
आत्मनो
वेद
भूतानि वेद
सर्वं तं परादात्
सर्वं
सर्वं तं
परादात्
परादात्
यो अन्यत्र आत्मना सर्वं वेद
यो
यो
अन्यत्र
अन्यत्रात्मनः सर्वं
आत्मनः
वेद
सर्वं वेद
इदं ब्रह्म इदं सत्रम् इमे लोका
इदं
इदं
ब्रह्म इदं
ब्रह्म
इदं
क्षत्रम् इमे
क्षत्रम्
लोका
इमे
लोका
लोका
इमे देवा इमानि भूतानि इदं सर्वं यदयात्मा
इमे
इमे
देवा
देवा
इमानि
इमानि भूतानि
इदं
इदं
सर्वं
सर्वं यदात्मा
यदात्मा
इदं सर्वं यदयम् आत्मा
इदं
इदं
सर्वं
इदं सर्वं
यदयमात्मा
यदयत्मात्मा
another very very critical and important mantra. So this particular brahmanam, the fourth one, is full of mantras which establish advaitam and which Shankara quotes very very often. Very very important brahmanam. So the following mantras are explanations of what he said. What did he say? Do Shravanam, do Maranam, do Nididhyasanam. Right? And this particular mantra is explaining Shravana. Right? So idam Brahma, idam Satram, ime lokaha, ime deva, imani bhutani, idam sarvam, yadayam Atma. Atma alone is everything. So by indicating that there is nothing but Atma, Yajnavalkya is saying that Atma is Sarvam, Atma Jnanam is Sarvam. Therefore, the essence of the mantra which we saw is that Atma alone is everything. Right. Now, it's pointing out that the people who are intelligent, who have studied, they should be seeing only Atma. What does Atma mean in Sanskrit?
aham
Three of us?
self.
aham swayam
Swayam.
aham
Aham. Atma means Aham. So when you say that Shruti doesn't consider people who see anything other than Atma as wise. So he's saying that you should see only yourself in this world. And if you are seeing something other than yourself, if I am saying there is something other than me in this world, that is a mistake. Right? Now, look at the argument. What is wrong if we say that there are other things other than ourselves, right? That is Dvaitam. And till now we had given explanation in a different manner why Dvaitam is incorrect. What did we say? We say that whenever you see something other than you, somebody or something other than you are setting up a boundary. What is that boundary? You are here and the other person or persons or things, they are limiting you. Because then you have set your, when you moment you say something else is there is a boundary between you and that other person or other thing. Right? And therefore, if you are seeing anything other than yourself, then naturally you have set up boundaries. The moment you set up a boundary for others also, what are you doing?
limiting
Purnatvam. Apurna.
my
You are limiting yourself, right? Forget about others. The moment I say somebody else is there, you are limiting yourself. And therefore, you will be limited by time. You will be limited by space, right? Because time separates you from somebody else, because somebody was born earlier, you were born later. Space separates you from somebody else, because he is separate from you. I'm seeing him in front of me. Therefore, you have invoked upon yourself Kala, Desha, Parichedaha, time and space limitations. The moment time and space limitations come, you are finite, you are mortal. And therefore, this in this Bheda Darshanam, in this view that somebody else is there, mortality cannot be avoided, and therefore sorrow cannot be avoided. Right? And so Yajnavalkya is saying that whenever you see somebody or something as separate from yourself, you are rejecting yourself. You're rejecting that infinite view of yourself. Because any division is separation. Therefore, any separation is rejection. And once you separate somebody from yourself, you have rejected that person or that thing, right? And once something has been rejected, what are you? You are Atma. So once something has been rejected as not you, what does it become? You are Atma, right? Now you say, this is my husband or this is my wife. You have separated that person from you. What has that husband or wife become?
Anatma.
Anatma, right? Because you are Atma and you are saying this is different from me, and Atma is only one. Therefore, that person has become Anatma. And we saw earlier in Yajnavalkya's teaching that everybody only truly loves himself, the Atma only. Therefore, the moment you separate a person from you or object from you, it becomes Anatma. And if you can only love Atma, then that person or object whom you have separated, that becomes object not loved. A very, very important idea. The moment I separate somebody from me by saying that person is separate, you have to remember, what are you? You are Atma. And there is only one Atma. The moment you say that my wife is Anatma, you are saying I love only Atma and my wife is Anatma. So do I love my wife? No. You have rejected, right? Therefore, remember that this is the what do you call logic behind why you hug your wife or your husband or your child. Whenever you hug, what are you doing? You are saying you and I are one only. There is no separation. That hug is symbolically, trying to remove the rejection, remove the separation. And so this Upanishad says that whenever you separate the world from yourself, you are rejecting the world. And in turn, the world will also reject you. And therefore, you will feel the isolation, you will feel the loneliness. Right? And that is why we always say the spouse is afraid of the other spouse's rejection. A devotee is afraid of the Lord rejecting him. There are so many prayers where we say, don't reject me, O Lord, right? And that is why another very important idea. You do not talk to anybody about um parts of your character which you feel are not healthy. Generally, I'm not talking about going and talking to your psychiatrist, okay, or psychologist. Normally, you don't share those parts of you which you feel are not very noble. What is the reason? What is the reason why you don't share those?
There is a sense of fear that I'll be rejected because of
Absolutely.
those.
Exactly. You are afraid of the rejection. Right? And when you love Atma and you think I am also Atma, then there is no problem, right? Because you are loving only Atma. If I am also Atma, there is no problem at all. But as long as I am an Atma for you, you can never really love me from the bottom of your heart. For that matter, nor can I really love you if I think you are separate from me. And therefore, the Shruti here uses one word, paradat. Paradat means you are rejected. See the words, brahmatam paradat, yo anyatraha, atmanaha, brahma veda. Okay, here I have to clarify, this Brahman is Varna. Okay, it is not Satchitananda Brahma in this particular mantra. And you will see why when you look at the context of the next part of the mantra. So here is Brahmatam Paradat means the Brahmana rejects you. Why? Because yo anyatra atmanaha Brahma Veda. You have rejected Brahmana. So if you have rejected the Brahmana by saying that you are a Brahmana and you are different from me, then that Brahmana also rejects you. Right? So yo anyatra atmanaha Veda. Very important line. That person who looks upon that Brahmana as anyatra atmana, different from me, the Atma. The moment you do that, you have rejected that Brahmana, and obviously the Brahmana also rejects you because he also thinks you are different. Now, why Brahmana and not Brahma? Look at the next line. Shatram tam paradat yaha anyatra atmana shatram veda. So, Shatram here is Kshatriya. Because of this context, you have to give the meaning of Brahmana to the first line. So, Shatram tam paradat yo anyatraha atmanaha Shatram Veda. Kshatriya rejects you because you have rejected the Kshatriya. Right? So, remember the moment that I see duality, I see the world as different from me, I will be rejecting the world, of course, but I will also be rejected by the world. Right? The consequence of this rejection is what we see today. Because we have this, unfortunately imported from the West syndrome that individuality is very important. And the moment you focus on that individuality, everybody else is not you. And therefore you are rejecting everybody else. That has gone stronger and stronger. And the stronger that happens, remember that you are rejecting everybody in the world. And everybody else is also rejecting you. You will feel loneliness. You will be in a deep state of emotional depression. And this you can see today all around you. Right? Therefore, this rejection can be of two types. It can be physical, it can be psychological also. Right? So, if you are feeling isolated from the rest of the family members, then that rejection is setting in. Right? And that thought, remember that people are not taking care of me, people don't want me around, I am, not useful to anybody, and they are worse still that they are useless people. These are all thoughts which constantly occupy your mind, and therefore you get into a state of depression. In fact, there may be a stage, you walk into the room and maybe your spouse is talking to your child about something which is not at all relevant to you, right? They may be talking about the movie they saw yesterday. But what will you say? Oh, they're whispering in one corner. They're talking about me. They're talking ill of me, right? So this kind of a adhyasa goes on. It's not there. They have good intentions or they may not have any intentions at all. But you interpret that incorrectly, not because of any mistake they have made, but this is because of the fundamental problem of Dvaita Darshanam. And this psychological rejection is what we call samsara. Very, very important ideas are being mentioned here. And Shankara gives another very, very beautiful meaning. He says that this makes you unfit for Purnatva. This rejection of others, he says, they make you unfit for Purnatva. You can never be complete. And therefore, what happens is you see your spouse as different from yourself. And therefore, there is always this, longing for that spouse. Spouse should be with me. Only when she or he is with me, then I am Purnaha. Therefore, minus the spouse, I am Apurnaha. Which means what? I am saying that if I have to be Purnaha, the spouse has to be with me, part of me. And because that spouse is not there as part of me, why? Because of my problem only. I have rejected her as not Atma. But what do? Instead of accepting that logic, that the basic fault is viewing her as something separately from me, I blame the spouse as responsible for my apurnatva. What is the correct approach? The spouse is not responsible for your apurnatvam, right? But you are responsible for your spouse, making you feel apurnaha. It is not that you are apurnaha, but you have set up a situation, an environment, by how by seeing the spouse as different from you. You have empowered the spouse to make you apurna. Nobody in this universe, including the Lord, has the power to make you apurna. You have to hand that power to somebody to make that person responsible for your apurnatvam. How do you hand that power? By saying that that person is different from me. Okay. Now look at the next verse, next part of the verse. Lokastam paraduhu yaha anyatra atmanaha lokan veda. So all the lokas he looks upon as different from himself. All the 14 lokas we are saying, right? And the moment you say all the 14 lokas are different from yourself, the 14 lokas will also reject you. Devastam paraduhu yo anyatra atmanaha devan veda. You look upon the devas as different from you as anatma, and therefore even the devas will reject that person. Then I will again request, please do not keep your mics open and disturb the recording. Okay. So even the devas will reject that person who looks upon devas as anatma. Similarly, bhutani tam paraduhu yo anyatra atmanaha bhutani vedaha. If you think of other bhutani as, for example, animals, plants, as different from yourself, they will also reject you. And then he generalizes, sarvam tam paradat yo anyatra atmanaha sarvam veda. The entire creation will reject you. Sarvam, the entire creation will reject you. The entire universe will reject you if you are looking upon the universe as different from yourself. Why is this being said? Because the teaching is extremely clear. You are not different from the universe. What is the fact? Idam Brahma, idam Shatram, ime lokaha, ime devaha, imani bhutani, idam sarvam, yadayam atma. This Brahmana, this Kshatriya, these 14 lokas, all these thousands of devatas, all these beings, living beings, animals, plants, insects, bacteria, even this scorpion, everything is you alone. Where do you get all this information from? During Shravanam. And therefore we say this is an explanation of this mantra is explaining what is Shravanam. So idam sarvam I am Atma. Right? Idam sarvam, all this I am Atma is nothing but this Atma which I am. So I am can be thought of as I am. Idam sarvam I am Atma. Idam means this. I am means this, right? Idam sarvam, all this universe, I am Atma bhavati, is nothing but this Atma only. Right? Why is it to be focused on? Because you should not think that there is another Paramatma who is sitting somewhere. So I am Atma, this Atma which you are. And this is a very, very important statement. It is not found very easily in most of the Shastrams. Now, why is it so important? So there are four derivations, four corollaries, so to speak, from this. The first one, Yajnavalkya is indicating that the phalam promised in the last mantra, Atma Jnanam. What is the phalam? Eka Vijnanena Sarvam Vijnanam Bhavati. So since Atma is Sarvam, therefore Atma Jnanam is equivalent to Sarva Jnanam, knowing everything. Then, second is Atma Prapti is the Sarva Kama Prapti, is the fulfillment of all desires. Since Atma is everything, in discovering the fact that I am Atma, I am also discovering that I am everything. And if I am everything, there is nothing which is not me. And what is a desire? A desire is something, a kamaha is something for an object or a person who is not you. Right? You don't desire yourself. So for a desire to be in place, there must be a spatial distance or a time distance. Right? So desire is caused by the distancing. And since in discovering that I am Atma, I discover that there is no distance of any object from me, Atma Jnanam resolves all desires. That is why we say that Atma Jnanam is the greatest fulfiller of all desires, because all desires are really gone. When do they go? When they are fulfilled. Therefore, this is called Purnatva Praptihi. After this Atma Jnanam, I don't miss anything in the universe because everything is me alone. And the third corollary is that universal love, loving everybody, everything, is possible only after you gain Atma Jnanam. As long as you don't have Atma Jnanam, everybody else will be Anatma. And therefore, I will only love myself because Atma is all that you can love. Right? So whether you like it or not, the fact that you can love only yourself is intrinsic to you. Right? It is not that you can change that by using your willpower. Your loving yourself is a intrinsic part of your nature. As long as other things are anatma, you may say, I love you, but you can never really love them because that love, true love, is only for Atma. Therefore, if you want to love everybody in the universe, everything in the universe, you have to be able to look upon all these things, the entire universe, as not different from you. Which is what? Atma Jnanam alone. Right? Then the fourth is a technical point. So let me explain a bit more in detail. When Yajnavalkya says that Atma alone is Sarvam, right? Idam Sarvam, I am Atma. Atma alone is everything. This Atma which you are alone is everything. It is a clear meaning that there is nothing other than Atma. That is, there is nothing independent of Atma. That means the world cannot have a independent existence. It is Atma alone. It's a name and form depending upon Atma alone. Therefore, the world is mithya. So there is a little grammar here which I can't avoid. I'll try to explain. Idam sarvam, yet I am Atma. So this is all in a referring to the same object. Idam, sarvam, I am Atma. All refers to what? The same object. And in Sanskrit grammar, when multiple words refer to the same object. So, technically they all end in the same vibhakti. What is the usage called? Anybody knows? Okay, it's called Samanadhikaranam. Meaning you have plenty of words, but they are all referring to the same object. So normally what happens, where there are many words, there will be many objects, right? So you have a table, you have a chair, you have a pen, you have a spectacles, you have books, you have a glass, you have a laptop, you have a laptop mic. All these words indicate individual objects. There will be as many objects as there are words. But sometimes you use many words to indicate one object. Let us say that you say Dasharatha Putra Rama. How many objects are there? There are two words, Dasharatha Putra Rama. Yeah, I hope you know what it means, right? The son of Dasharatha, Dasharatha Putra, is Rama. There are two words, Dasharatha Putra and Rama. How many objects are there?
One.
One.
Only one.
So this is the Samanadhikaran usage, right? Okay. Now, a little more complexity, right? These words are always used in the same, what we call in English, case. Sanskrit is vibhakti. So that's called Visheshena, Visheshya, Bhavaha, Samanyadhikaranam. These are different types of Samanyadhikaranam. And these are used when the relationship is Visheshena, Visheshya. What is that? Adjective and noun. Right? So, how do you use it? Instead of saying that Rama is brave man. So when you are using a sentence, Rama is a brave man, that is a proposition, is, right? But you can also, reword that without using a proposition. What is that? Brave Rama. So in this combination of two words, one is the noun Rama, one is the qualifying adjective brave. So Guna and Guni. Who is the Guni?
Rama.
Rama. And brave is the Guna. Okay. So this is little bit of explanation required for further discussion. So this is called the Visheshana Visheshya Bhavaha Samanadhikaranam. One is an adjective, one is a noun. Both will point to the same object. And the very important, very what I call well-known example in Shastram is Neelam Utputpalam, blue lotus. Okay. Now the second type of Samanadhikaranam is called Aikya Samanadhikaranam. You use the same vibhakti, same case ending for two words when both are one and the same. So, for example, the very famous example, Soyam Devadattaha. Saha Ayam Devadattaha. Right? This person is Devadatta. There is no relationship of adjective noun between Soyam and Devadattaha, which was earlier. Earlier we saw there is a Guna-Guni relationship between the two words. But here, in the Soyam Devadattaha, there is no Guna-Guni. Really speaking, both are the same. Right? You understand? So, I am is the same. This is that same Devadatta. Right? Now, what is the classical example of Aikya Samanyadhikaranam? It is a Mahavakyam. Tat Tvamasi. This Tat and Tvam, there is no Guna-Guni relationship. It is basically, what is the relationship at all? There is no relationship. Why? Because it is Aikyam. It is the same. So Tattvamasi is under the classification of Aikya Samanadhikaranam. And remember therefore that all Mahavakyams are always Aikya Samanadikaranyam. Also, can you think of any other place where you have seen Aikya Samanadikaranyam? Any Sahasranama. What does it mean? All the 1,000 words, they are the pointing toward the same object, the same deity. Like Vishnu Sahasranam, for example. Every one of those words, 1,000 words, means Vishnu only. Therefore, all Mahavakyams are in Aikya Samanadikaranam. All the Sahasranamas are also in Samanadikaranam. Then there is a third possibility which is called Upasanayam Samanadikaranam. So, two words are used in the same vibhakti, but the idea is to indicate that you should meditate upon one as the other. Right? For example, we saw in Chandogya Upanishad, man is fire. That's one of the mantras. When you say man is fire, the obviously it cannot be guna guni, right? The fire cannot be adjective of man. Obviously, it cannot be Aikyam also. Aikya Samanadikaranam, it cannot be. Why? Because if you put your food on the man, it will not cook. Therefore, man is not fire. What is it then? You have to look upon the man as the fire. This is the Panchagni Vidya example. So many things are looked upon as fire over there. So, Upasanayam Samanadikaranam. This is the third one. And the fourth one, the interesting one, it's called the Badhayam Samanadikaranam. And it is used when the words are replacing a incorrect vision with a correct vision. An incorrect idea is being corrected to the right idea by the use of these words. So, for example, the Raju Sarpa example, right? You see a snake on the road and you start panicking, and then I am with you and I tell you, I am Sarpaha Rajuhu. What am I saying? This snake is nothing but a rope. Right? What is the relationship? It is not Guna Guni. It is not Aikyam also. It is Padhayam Samanadikaranam. I am saying that this snake which you see is the incorrect idea that you have, is the vision is incorrect. What should be is that this is a Rajjuhu, this is a rope. So this snake which you see is actually a rope. This is what is happening. Snake is dismissed. And now in the place of the snake, the rope is seen. Displacement of one idea, which is badaha in Sanskrit, negation, by replacement with another idea is called badayam samanadikaranyam. Okay. Are you totally confused? Hope not. Right, because discussion is going on. Now look at the statement in the mantra. Idam sarvam yadayam atma. Under what type of these four samanadikaranyams does this statement fall? Take the first one we saw. Visheshana, Visheshya, Samanadikaranyam. Right? Can we take, what is the statement? Idam sarvam ayam atma. Right? So, can we take, idam sarvam means what? This entire universe. So, can we say that idam sarvam is the adjective for the noun atma? Can you say that universe is the adjective for the noun atma? Is there a guna guni relationship between atma and Brahman? I mean, in world and Brahman. Is there?
No.
No. Fine. But remember that in Vishishta Advaitam, they say that Atma is there, but it is endowed with attributes. And they say that the universe is attribute of Atma. Right? Therefore, the whole universe and all the jivas, they become attributes of Atman. This is Vishishta Advaitam, which we don't accept. So we will leave it there. But you can ask a question, why cannot you say that the universe is attribute of Atma? Well, I can give some reasons. The universe and Atma are diagonally opposite in nature. Universe is Jadam, inert. Atma is Chetanam, consciousness principle. Universe is changing, Savikaram. Atma is Nirvikanam. Universe has lots of papams and evils and sufferings, Ashuddham, while Atma is Shuddham. Right? So, if this Ashuddha universe is a guna, adjective of Shuddha Atma, there is a problem. The adjective and the noun are joined intimately. Therefore, the Ashuddhamness, Ashuddha quality of the universe will contaminate the Atma. Therefore, we cannot say that there is a guna-guni relationship. The first Visheshana, Vishesha Adhikaranam is ruled, Samanya Adhikaranam is ruled out. What is the second possibility? Aikya Samanadikaranyam. So why can't we say that universe and Atma are one and the same logic? They have diagonally opposite nature. So how can this Jada universe be the same as Chetana Atma? How can a Savikara Prapancha be equal to a Nirvikara Atma? How can a Ashuddha Prapancha be identical with Shuddha Atma? Therefore, this second possibility has to be rejected also. What is the third possibility? Upasanayam Samanadikaranyam. Shruti is saying, it's a possibility. Shruti is saying, you should see the world as Brahman, which means you should meditate upon the world as Brahman. We don't agree. We say that you should actually perceive the world as Brahman. But here, when you say Upasanayam Samanadikaranyam, you are saying invoke Brahman upon the world and meditate upon the world as Brahman. Right? Shankara does not agree. So when we come to Shankara Bhashyam, we'll see a very long, discussion on this. But in Vridaranyaka Bhashyam, he does not comment. Anyway, so why can we not accept this? Because Upasana is not the same as knowledge. In Upasana, you see one thing as another thing. So it's called Atasmin Buddhi. We discussed all this earlier. It is not a factual perception. It is Ayathartha Jnanam, not Yathartha Jnanam. Yathartha Jnanam is seeing something as it is. But seeing something as different from what it is called Ayathartha Jnanam, not a factual perception. Right? In fact, any Upasana, remember, is Ayathartha Jnanam because it is a deliberately superimposed perception. It is not a fact. And therefore it cannot be under Jnanam. Whatever is not under Jnanam will automatically be classified under karma. And if it is karma, then it can never give moksha because karma will always give you parichinna, limited results. Karma can never give moksha. Right? So you have to ask here, what was the purpose of Yajnavalkya beginning his teachings? So you have to go back to Maitreyi's question. What did she ask? She said, will I get immortality from all the properties which you are giving me? And Yajnavalkya says that, no, Moksha you cannot get with the property. Only jnanam can give you moksha. Therefore, the teaching that Yajnavalkya gives cannot be upasana. It has to be jnanam alone. Therefore, upasanayam samana adhikaranyam also is rejected. Right. That leaves us only with the fourth possibility, which is badhayam samanadhikaranyam. So what is here? What you see as the universe is a mistake. In fact, there is only Brahman. There is no universe, there is no Jagat separate from Brahman, separate from Atma. But you see it, it exists. But you have to understand that world, that Jagat is a dependent entity. It is the same as Brahman. It is not separate from Brahman. And therefore, it doesn't have an independent existence. It has a dependent existence. Therefore, this mantra establishes Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Shankara's very famous statements, right? And such a statement that Brahman is Satyam and Jagat Mithya, you don't see very often anywhere else. It is the idea conveyed by this particular mantra. Therefore, Sarvatma Bhavaha is Sarva Atma iti Bhavaha. The vision that Bhavaha here can be taken as a vision or the understanding. So when you say Sarva Atma Bhavaha, it is Sarvam Atma iti Bhavaha. The vision, the understanding that everything is Atma alone. And when everything is Atma alone, it means that the entire universe is Mithya. So Sarva Mithya Darshanam. Everything else is Mithya apart from Atma. And this is the main idea of the Samanadhikaranyam, the fourth Samanadhikaranyam. Okay, any questions? It is very, very exhaustive, I know, but I would recommend that.
Not a question, but a little confusion.
Yeah.
That on the one hand, it is conveyed that everything is Atma, including the Anatma part of
Yes,
it.
yes.
And on the other hand, the world is rejected as Mithya. So only Atma is Satyam and
Yes.
Jagat is Mithya. So that does it not create different interpretations of the
No.
same?
There are two levels of reality. One is Paramarthika and
Okay,
one
okay,
is
got it.
Vyavaharika.
Got it.
So
Yeah,
different levels of reality can exist together.
yeah.
But you
Okay.
cannot say that Atma is Satyam and Jagat is Satyam. That's the problem.
Yeah. So it is a problem of understanding by
Problem
us
of
rather
understanding.
than.
You will see it,
Yeah,
but you should not take it
yeah,
as Satyam.
yeah. Thank
That's
you.
why the Raju Sarpa example is so relevant. You will see the snake, but
Mm.
if you take it as Satyam, it is a problem. If you take it as a not Satyam, it is fine. It won't trouble you. Okay, anybody else? All right. In that case,
So,
we can.
Acharyaji, when you said idam sarvamayam atma, so this is classified as badhayam samanadhikaranyam because of the reason you explained. The fourth category, it is
No, it is not Badhayam.
it is not badhayam.
Yeah. It is Aikyam.
Okay.
There is a difference. Aikyam indicates they're all the same. Badhayam, you are saying that the world is Mithya.
Mhm.
Right? When you see the word, what you call, separately from you, it is Satyam. But Badhayam is saying that the statement is saying that there is no world excepting Brahman. So it is there's a negation over there. In I am Sarva, that is not a negation at all.
But Acharyaji, don't When we say idam, doesn't it refer to this, which means something other than me?
Yeah, okay, fine. You are right. You can actually take idam sarvam, I am Atma, as saying that the entire universe is nothing but Atma.
Hmm.
Right? They are all in the same case, so that confusion not occur. Because you must say that idam sarvam, this entire universe, I am Atma, is Atma. Therefore, this universe which is being taken as Satyam is being negated by the use of the words I am Atma. So you're correct. It is actually Vadayam Samadhikaranyam. And that's the main significance.
Thank you.
You should actually not take it as indicating the same. If you say, it's a very delicate line. If you are saying that they all point to the same, it's not really correct. It's like saying, this, let us say, what was the example we used? Dashatraputra Rama. There's only one object. But here there are two objects. One is a Mithya object and one is the substratum Brahman. So to give the understanding, they are saying that you take it as Badahayam Samanidakaranam. Then what will happen is the word this Atma will negate the Satyatvam of Idam Sarvam, this Jagat. So yes,
But Mithya and Satyam can coexist.
Mithya and Satyam can coexist. As Sudhir was saying, one is Paramarthika Satyam and
Ji.
one is Vyavaharika Satyam. So a lower order of reality can coexist with a higher order of reality. Like your dream universe can coexist with you, the physical body, in the Vyavaharika universe. You, the waker, are Vyavaharika. You, the dreamer, are Pratibhasika. So both of you can coexist.
It's quite tough to understand and we need to listen to the
You have
class.
to listen and you have to do a lot of mananam because these are the basic principles which we have done earlier, but it's always difficult to grasp.
Thank you.
So in the sixth mantra, what is the main teaching? Atma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Right? That is, I am the only Satyam. Which comes from where? Which comes from Shravanam only. Remember, only Shravanam can give you this knowledge that Atma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Therefore, we said sixth mantra is an explanation of the word Shravanam, Shrotavyaha. It is explaining that. Okay, now the next mantras, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 6 mantras. They are talking about Mananam. The sixth mantra was Shravanam. This mantra is Mananam. So let us read. स यथा धुन्देर्बेर्हन्यमानस्य
यथा
यथा दुन्दुभेर्यमानस्य
न बाह्यान् शब्दान् शक्नुयात्
न
बाह्यान्
Mahayan
शब्दान्
Shabdan Shaknuyan
शक्नुयात्
Grahana
ग्रहणाय दुन्दुभेदस्तु
Grahanaya
ग्रहणाय
Dunduvedastu
दन्दुभेदस्तु
ग्रहणेन दुन्दुभ्याधातस्य
Grahane
ग्रहणेन
Dundubhyaghātasya
दुन्दुभ्याघातस्य
धातस्य वा शब्दो गृहीतः.
वा
Vashabdo
शब्दो
Grahitaha.
गृहीतः.
So here Shruti wants to show that Atma is the material cause for everything in creation, is the Upadana Karanam for everything in creation. So once you establish Atma as the Upadana Karanam, if you say Atma is Upadana Karanam for the Jagat automatically becomes what? The Karyam. So there is a Karanam and there is a Karyam. Because once you establish that something is the Karyam, automatically you establish that that karyam is dependent upon the karanam. It cannot exist separately from the karanam. Therefore, the karyam is always mithya. But to do that, if you have to say that Jagat is the karyam and therefore because it is a karyam, it is mithya, you have to first establish that Atma is the upadana karanam. And how do you show that Atma is upadana karanam? You have to show that Atma is srishti karanam, sthiti karanam, as well as laya karanam of this universe. Right? So the seventh mantra establishes that the seventh, eighth, and ninth mantras, they talk about Atma as sthiti karanam. The 10th mantra talks about Atma as Srishti Karanam. And the 11th and 12th mantras, they talk about Atma as Laya Karanam. So to establish this, Upanishad uses logic. What is that? How do you know that clay is the essence of the pot? And when you say essence of the pot, you are saying, how do you know that clay is required for the pot to exist? And when you say that clay is required for the pot to exist, what kind of karanam is clay? Sthiti, Srishti, or Laya? I'll repeat. If you say that the pot cannot exist without the clay, which of the three karanams are they? Is the clay?
Upada.
Sthiti.
Sthiti karanam. Because you are saying sthiti, existence. It's not there. You cannot have a pot without the clay. Therefore, for the very existence of the pot, you need clay. Right? If you have to hold the pot, you have to be holding the clay. Right? So you get a generalization over here. And Shankara gives it very beautifully. Yasya grahanam vina, yasya grahanam na sambhavati, tat tasya atma. You can understand? If you cannot grasp Y without at the same time grasping X, then you can conclude that X is the Atma of Y. Atma here means essence, substratum. Right? I'll repeat. Yasya grahanam vina, yasya grahanam na sambhavati. If you cannot grasp this without grasping that, then you have to conclude that that is the essence of, okay, I'll say it in Y and X. It's easier that way. If you cannot grasp Y without grasping X, then the conclusion is that X is the Atma or the essence of Y.
Oh.
Right? So if you cannot grasp the world without involving grasping the Atma, you have to accept that Atma is the substratum of the world, the essence of the world. Therefore, Atma is the essence of everything in the world. When you are aware of the pot, pot jnanam is there. When you are aware of the existence of a thing, you are able to talk about it only because of consciousness. Therefore, Shruti says that consciousness is the essence of everything and is the cause of the sthiti. Therefore, Chaitanyam becomes what? Consciousness becomes uh, the common consciousness, Samanya Rupam. And all other things in the world, they become specific. So it's a very important idea. Specific objects can be grasped only with the Samanya Karanam. So a specific object is a pot and the clay is a Samanya Karanam. So if you want to grasp the world, the Samanya Karanam of the world is Atma. So you can grasp the world only with the help of the Atma, which is the Samanya Karana. I'll just take 3-4 minutes more. We'll try to finish this. To convey this idea, the Upanishad uses 3 examples. First example is a dandu. Dandu is a drum. The second example is Shankaha, which is a conch. The third example is Veena. So, when the drum or the conch or the Veena make a sound, first you know what? There is a sound coming. Right? It's a very important idea. Whatever type of musical instrument you are using, first you will know that there is a sound. That sound is called Samanya Rupa Shabdaha, the sound which is general. And within that sound, you have many varieties. You have high pitch, you have low pitch. All the differences are Vishesha Shabdaha. So there is a Samanya Shabdaha and there are Vishesha Shabdahas. So Shruti says here that a Vishesha Shabdaha can never be grasped unless you are able to grasp the Samanya Shabdaha. So this various ragas, the various pitches that you can never grasp unless you are able to grasp the Samanya Shabdaha. What is the proof? Supposing there is a person who is not able to hear any sound, a hearing impaired person. He will not hear the sound at all. Where is the question of him telling you that this is a veena or a drum or this is a raga, right? So when you cannot hear the Samanya Shabda itself, where is the question of grasping the Vishesha Shabda? Right? So therefore, in the case of the world, Chaitanyam is the only Samanya. I am. I am is the Samanyam here. After the word I am, which is the Samanyam, then comes the various specifics. I am man, I am woman, I am husband, I am wife, etc. So all things that are Visheshas, they arise out of the Samanyam and they disappear into the Samanyam. And therefore, without that Samanyam, the Vishesham is not possible. Without I am, which is the Samanyam, the Vishesham, the universe is not possible. Therefore, Chaitanyam eva sthiti karana. This is the logic that is applied in the 7th, 8th and 9th mantras. Yatha danduber anyamanasya. When the drum is beaten, bahyan shabdan grahanaya na shaknuyat. One cannot grasp a particular vishesha sound, bahyan, vishesha sound independently. Sadandu vedastu grahena grahitaha. They are grasped with the grasping of the danduvehe, the samanya shabdaha only, which is the sound of the drum. Very nice logic. With this, we'll stop for today. Any questions? I hope this has not been too much for you. It's heavy, but then, this Upanishad is heavy throughout.
Om Purnamada
Purnamidam
Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnasya
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Tat Sat, Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your
Om Tat
patience.
Sat, Om Namah
Om Om.
Shivaya.
Thank you,
Thank
Guruji.
you.
Om Om.